Hello, Math 1 Focus students. So this will be the last video for the day, or for the week of May 11th. And more work. You can do Excel in Pearson on your Chromebook. Under class links, go to Pearson and you can look in chapter 4 and do Excel. You can also go to class link on your Chromebook and do IXL, look for equation solving problems. Or anything you want to practice on IXL. Anyways, hope you have a great week, and here we go. So, how I want you to show your work, I'm kind of giving you just friendly numbers here today. This is going to be two-step equation solving, and I just want you to do the opposite in the opposite order. So like in the morning, when you put on your socks, and then you put on your shoes, like here, this is 3 times m. You're multiplying by 3 first, and then you're adding 7. Well, in the evening, here's my cat jumping up here. In the evening, you take off your shoes first. You don't take off your socks. That'd be kind of creepy if you try to take off your socks first. Then you take off your shoes. You take off your shoes first, then you take off your socks. So what happens is you end up doing the opposite in the opposite order. So here, watch. I'm going to draw my line. What's the first thing I should get rid of? Well, I should get rid of the -7, because the times 3 is the closest thing to it. That's the first thing I did. You multiply by 3 and then you added 7. So you want to get rid of 7 and then get rid of the 3. You can do the opposite in the opposite order. So the opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. And those cancel. And so you have 3m left on the left. And 30 minus 7 is 37 minus 7 is 30. Now you just have a one-step equation solved. And so the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. And you're going to go divide by 3, and m equals 10. And you can check in your head. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 7 is 37. So I'm right, and I know I'm right. So here, I'd like you to try this one. Very similar. So hit pause and do it. I'm going to go. So you should have added 2 to both sides. And that cancels and had 5p equals 40. And then you should have divided both sides by 5. And 5 divided by 5 cancels, and you should have p equals 8. And you could double check. 5 times 8 is 40, minus 2 is 38. So you're right, and you know you're right. Again, the solution is the answer that makes it true. Right? And the process of doing it is you're trying to get the variable all by itself. And you do that by doing the opposite of both sides and moving stuff away from the variable. Right, you try number 3. There's 2 examples now. So you try number 3. I'm going to go. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and those cancel. Those are opposites. 17 minus 1 is 16. Then the opposite of multiplying by 8 is dividing by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. That cancels. M equals 2. 1 minus 1, 0. 8m plus 0 is 0. Or 8m plus 0 is 8m. And I can check. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So anyways, these are just real classic two-step equations. So now we're going to change it up. These 3 are all similar, but they're different than the first 3. So hit pause, see if you can do it. And if you don't know how to do it, just watch me. I'll do one, then you can do the other 2. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, because that's going to cancel, become 0. And m divided by 2 plus 0 is m divided by 2 equals 13 minus 8 is 5. And now, what's the opposite of dividing by 2? Well, it's multiplying by 2. I'm just going to go big dot times 2, big dot times 2. That cancels. M equals 10. And I can check. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 8 is 13. I'm right, and I know I'm right. So here, you try number 5. You can do it. Hit pause. Right, here I go. Plus 2, c divided by 3 equals 6, and then times 3, c equals 18. And I can check. 18 divided by 3 is 6, minus 2 is 4, so I'm right, and I know I'm right. So there's 2. Come on, you can do this one. Hit pause. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 6 minus 6 is 0. P divided by 5 equals 7. The opposite of multiplying by 5, or dividing by 5, is multiplying by 5. Big dot, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times P is P. And 7 times 5 is 35. And I could check. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. I'm right, and I know I'm right. So those three were similar. All right, now this is going to be different. Here, if you look at it, aren't you adding 2 first, then dividing by 3? So this is kind of different. Here you divided by 2, and then you added 8. So you had to go after the 8 first. This time, you're adding 2 first, and then dividing by 3. If the last thing you do is dividing by 3, that's the first thing you want to get rid of. So I need to big dot times 3, big dot times 3. This is different. I'm going to actually divide both sides by 3. M plus 2 equals 15. Oh, here I'll draw my line. And then what's the opposite of adding 2? It's subtracting 2. And so M equals 13. And I can check. 13 plus 2 is 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5. I'm right, and I know I'm right. And I hope you see the difference here. This was divide by 2 first, then add 8. So the first thing I did was subtract 8. Here, this was add 2 first, then divide by 3. So that's why the first thing I did was multiply by 3. You do the opposite in the opposite order. So here, you try number 8. Hit pause, go. Here we go. Times 4, P minus 3 equals 28, and then plus 3, P equals 31. And how do you know you're right? Well, 31 minus 3 is 28. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So I'm right, and I know I'm right. You hit pause, do it. I'm going to multiply by 5, big dot. I'm going to multiply by 5. The 5's cancel. C plus 1 equals 30. And then minus 1, C equals 29. 29 plus 1 is 30, divided by 5 is 6. I'm right, and I know I'm right. Okay, last 3 here. These are even tougher looking ones. And so you have to, we want to distribute first. We want to multiply both of these by 3, distributing. We've done that before. And then it's going to end up being like these kind of questions once we're done here. So distribute first. Hit pause and do it. I think you can do this. And then solve. So here I go. 6m minus 12 equals 18. 6 times 2m is 8m. 6 times 4, or minus 4 is going to be minus 12. And now I'm ready to solve. And now it's just like number 1. I'm going to add 12 to both sides. 6m equals 30. And I'm going to divide both sides by 6. And m equals 5. And I can check. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. And 3 times 6 is 18. I'm right, and I know I'm right. So here, you try number 11. You can do this. Remember, biggest thing you want to be saying to yourself always is, I can do this, I can do this. You know, give me an example or two and I can do this for sure. So I'm going to go hit pause so you can finish. Minus 15, 10c equals 20, divide by 10, divide by 10, c equals 2. And I could check. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 times 5 is 35. I'm right, and I know I'm right. So last one here. Come on, you can do it. Hit pause. Hit pause and do it. So 8p minus 2 equals 22. And now I'm solving. Plus 2, plus 2. 8p equals 24. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And p equals 3. 8's cancel. And I can check. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. 2 times 11 is 22. So I'm right, and I know I'm right. Right? So great job.